Hey guys, Jeff Kamke with Wealth Energetics, sharing with you powerful concepts to transform you in wealth and abundance. So, when we come to wealth, we talk about money and financial strategies. What are some of the things underneath that are going to drive whether you're going to be successful or not? And it comes down to beliefs. I just was doing a podcast interview this morning with a chiropractor that I have known for about 10 years. We were talking about this very topic of beliefs and how beliefs drive everything we do. And we have these subconscious beliefs that if we're not in alignment with our subconscious beliefs, with what we are trying to do with our money, there is going to be interference. We are going to screw it up. We are going to not achieve the goals maybe as fast as we want or to the level that we want. And we have to look at our beliefs about money. So I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts and my beliefs around money and wealth. See what you resonate with. I'd love to know what your beliefs are about money and about wealth, about prosperity. And please share this video. Please comment with this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click the subscribe button and be notified of when I put out new content like this. And let's jump into the topic. So one of my first beliefs here is that the wealthy handle their money differently than the middle classes and not indoctrinated to do with theirs. There is a big disconnect. This is one of the things that when I first learned of wealth principles back in 2018, I kind of intuitively knew that there was something that you weren't told. There was this kind of like hidden backroom secret type thing going on, right, around money and wealth, that the things that we're told on TV and just what the masses believe about money isn't what the wealthy are doing. The wealthy aren't getting rich by stuffing their money away for 40 years and waiting for the long run and for the markets to make them happy and make them abundant and make them financially free. They're not doing those things. They're doing things differently. They're doing things differently where they have businesses and they view capital differently. They put money to work. They're not just living off of cash flow day in and day out. And so you have to understand that there's a different construct. The wealthy are going day to day, doing things differently from a different set of belief systems. One of my mentors always called it the wealthy are playing in a different playing field with different rules than the middle class is playing at. So if you don't know the difference and you think that you're going to achieve wealth by what the middle class is taught by the middle class gurus, if you listen to Dave Ramsey and think you're going to, a Gary Gunderson quote here, shrink your way to wealth and cut back your way to wealth, you're not going to do that. If you followed what Dave Ramsey is actually doing, you would create his outcome. You're not going to just cut out all of your debt and live off of your W-2 income and, become super wealthy. You have to find what your passion is. You have to be able to convert that into a value for people that they need what you bring to the table. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to scale. There's all these different things that you have to do. And, I think there's this common belief at the middle class level that, well, that stuff is all, too complicated. It's too risky. I don't want to have to go through all that. But then conversely, the middle class is encouraged to go to 2, 4, 8 years of college, maybe more, depending on if you're going to be like a specialty doctor of some sort, right? It's not in alignment. It doesn't match up. There's incongruent beliefs around that. So we can, go and study for 8 years or 4 years at university, but then we don't want to apply ourselves the rest of life. There's this unspoken rule that we can somehow be educated for the first few years of our life and then turn the switch off and just coast for the rest. And that's not what the wealthy do. And I think if you're listening to this video, you're someone that is looking for more. What do I need to go do to get to the next level? Who do I need to become? There's this growth element. There's this evolution that you want to go through to become a better version of yourself. And it comes down to these types of money beliefs, making sure that we're aware of them, and then identifying some of the hidden blind spots that maybe we aren't in alignment fully with some of these beliefs. And where do we need to change our thoughts, upgrade our beliefs, and maybe alter our actions and habits, the things that we're going to do. They're going to allow those beliefs to sink in and then flow through us and become part of who we show up in this world and how we perform and what we create through our purpose, right? So that's one of my money beliefs. Another one is that the middle class money beliefs are designed, and the advice is designed to benefit the institutions. It's designed to keep you a slave. Might be hard to hear that, but it's true, and not put you in control of your money or to live an empowered life. It's a mouthful right now. If you're not around this kind of information, that might really hit you like a ton of bricks. Like, holy crap, Jeff, like that's saying a lot. Like, I don't know if that's all true. Well, let's look into it. If what we're told a lot by the financial gurus and by the financial media is to put money in the stock market, don't touch it for 30 or 40 years. If you do try to touch it early, you're disincentivized with penalties and all this kind of stuff. You don't think that's to the benefit of the institutions where they can keep your money for 30 or 40 years and you don't have it? And yes, you're getting some interest out of that. But have you ever thought and compared, is what I'm getting for value out of that versus what they're getting for value out of that? Is it equal? How do they make money on the back end? Have you ever thought of that? They're paying you 4% a year, maybe in a mutual fund, or Dave Ramsey wants to say 10 or 12%, maybe 6% in a mutual fund, whatever the number is, just pick the number. Let's go with 10 or 12, like Dave says. Do you think the financial institutions are only making 10 and a half to 12 and a half, and they're keeping 0.5% and giving it the rest to you? Or is there something going on in the back end? Did they know things that we don't? Are they putting that money to work and growing at much higher rates and much bigger returns than what they're paying you? You have to believe that they're doing things at a much larger rate. Now, I happen to know through some certain information that they are doing those. I've seen the actual accounts where they are growing money significantly higher than the few percentage points they're paying customers. So I know firsthand, I've seen the accounts, but you might not believe that. And that's okay if you don't fully believe that, but be open to, like, maybe they're not all in it for me. Maybe there's something there. And obviously there's a point where they do have to keep their lights on. They have to pay their employees, but is it a win-win type of a relationship? Are they fully winning? Are you fully winning? Or maybe we not winning as much as they're winning? And do you want to participate in something like that that's maybe a little unbalanced? So I've said, the middle class money advice is keeping you a slave. And you might go, wow, Jeff, slavery ended back in the 1800s. There's no such thing as slavery anymore. Well, I would argue that fully, because if we live paycheck to paycheck, are we free or are we a slave? If we have to work for 40 years in order to have a good retirement, are you a slave or are you free? You have to think about that. Now, if we are always at middle class and we don't have the ability to travel, we don't have the ability to do what we want financially. And this is a Garrett Gunderson concept, if what you do financially is governed by the first consideration of, do I have the money to do this or do I not have the money to do this? You are a money slave, because you have to go trade your time for dollars in order to pay your bills and to put food on the table. That is basically the definition of a slave. Now, conversely, to be free would mean the money that's flowed into your life that you've created through whatever means, you've been able to put that money to work to where that money is working for you, and what that money is making you live off of and probably have plenty of surplus. That would be the definition of financial freedom or economic independence, as different gurus talk about. That is the opposite of being a slave. So see where you feel on that. Do you feel like you're more enslaved, or do you feel like you're more free? Or are you somewhere in between, right? That's a powerful thing. And the whole idea behind you not being in control of your money or not living an empowered life, I mean, let's take a hard look at that. Any area of life out there, do the controlling elite want you to be an empowered citizen to where you have ultimate control over things? Are you sovereign? I mean, that's what this country was founded upon here in America, is sovereignty. It's a republic. We think it's a democracy, but it's actually truly a republic where we have personal freedoms given to us by God, and we have the freedom to exercise those in our day-to-day living. Now, if we are not living an empowered life, what would that show up as? We would have restrictions, we would have rules, we would have other people putting their beliefs upon us, so that we are living basically disempowered to give our power away to financial institutions or to other entities, right? That's being disempowered. And so you have to take a hard look at that as well. Or where do you feel like you're living in that? And do you feel like you feel in control of your money? Do you feel empowered around your money, or really any other area of your life? And let's look at health. Let's look at relationships. Do you feel like you're empowered and in control of those types of things? Or are you going along for the ride? Are you just doing what the rest of the sheep are doing? That's the difference, right? So you have to understand there's a difference there between the middle class money advice and what it's doing for us versus how the wealthy are functioning. So another belief and principle around wealth is to be listening to people, to teachers, to gurus about money who have achieved what you're desiring to achieve around money, and making sure that their beliefs are in alignment with yours, right? Because if we just listen to anybody, if we listen to Dave Ramsey thinking that we're going to be a billionaire by not going to Starbucks and cutting up our credit cards and living off of our W-2 income, there's a mismatch there, right? And you might listen to Grant Cardone, the real estate guy, or Robert Kiyosaki, the real estate guy. And maybe you don't like real estate. And they speak primarily from the standpoint of you need to put your money into real estate and that's the way to go. Well, maybe that's not the type of person you should be listening to. You need to find someone that is going to give you good advice that's going to be in alignment with who you are now, where you want to go, and they generally see things the way that you want to see things, or the way that you do see them. And when you do that, when you find the right mentor, when you find the right coach that can give you the right path and help you along, and they've been where you've been, there's power in that because they know what it's like to be you where you're at right now. They've already risen above that, or worked their way out of it, or transformed in a way to where they're no longer there. They've gotten to a new place, and they can then help you get there and probably shortcut the process or collapse the time around that to help you get there quicker. That's a powerful process within doing that. So that's something that, as you're listening for advice around money, and this goes to me, you might not even like me, you might not like the things I talk about, and that's fine. Go find somebody that you resonate with, because that is where your ultimate power is going to come from, in being able to expedite a transformation around money and abundance. So another belief that I have, and you listen to a lot of alternative finance guys and teachers, is that money is a tool. That we get conflicted a lot of times with church, that money's bad and money's a sin, and having a lot of money is you're just this horrible person. I mean, that's a very pervasive belief in the church. We had this in our family. My father-in-law fought us on that quite a bit, and I never did quite know what that dollar amount was when you went from being a good Christian. And was it 100 grand? Was it 150 grand? Was it 125 grand? I never knew where it went from. You're a good person, and that dollar amount pushes you over into evil and sin and all those types of things, right? I don't know what that dollar amount is, but that seemed to be the belief out there. And I never subscribed to that belief. I always challenged that belief. There was always a gut check within me of, yeah, that just doesn't add up. Like, money is a neutral thing. Money is a magnifier of the heart. And if you are a inherent evil person, or you like to take advantage of people, or you screw people, or you do negative things with money, then that's just a reflection of who you are. That's probably your internal state. You're probably miserable at some level. Now, if you have a philanthropic heart, you like to give, you like to help people, you like to utilize money to carry out your God-given purpose, well, then money is going to be a reflection and a magnifier of that. That means that when you have more money, you're going to be able to do more of those things. If you come from a negative standpoint and you have a lot of money, you're going to be able to do more of the negative things. And we see that everywhere, right? People that abuse other people and take advantage of other people, and it's all for profit. It's all for the material things. But then we also know people, or have heard of people that are very giving, and they have charities, and that the more money that they have under their control, or the more money that flows through them in their business or their charity, then the more that they're able to help, right? That's a powerful principle. So see money as neutral, see money as a magnifier of who you are, and know that it will help you carry out your God-given purpose. Another belief is your financial strategy can accelerate your goals, it can boost your confidence, and it can raise your vibrations. So what do we mean by all that, right? Well, when I first learned of wealth strategies above and beyond just financial planning and budgeting, but understood a much more a bigger hierarchy, a bigger framework around how money works, how to look at all the different pieces around money, see how they all work either together or against each other. So like your savings, your emergency fund, is that working with maybe your life insurance, or is it working against your life insurance? Is having savings doing much for you in a strategic, efficient way, like maybe lowering your deductibles on your normal like home and auto insurance, or is it just sitting there doing nothing for you? We don't necessarily make the connections about this pile of money and this pile of money and this product and this strategy. Are they working together? Are they working against each other? We don't think of that kind of thing. And when we do, then when we have our goals clearly defined of what we want our life to look like and how much money we want to be making and what we want to do with that and how we want to serve and how we want to grow and who we want to impact, when we can start seeing that the dollars that are in our environment right now, they're in our life, and then we know like, hey, I want to get to this place that's a little further away, and you can start seeing like, man, the money that's already here, I can do more with that money. What does that do? That changes your thinking, going, wait a minute, I've already got the resources. I've already got what it takes to get to my goal. I can now maybe go for a bigger goal. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, that's where the financial strategy can accelerate your goals, because you may already have the resources that you need right now to do what you want to do, but you don't have the right strategies in place. So you think that what I want to go for is still maybe months or years away, and you still have to work on increasing your income because that's what they tell you to do, is just make more money. They don't think about what is the money that you've already got doing. Can you make it go further? Can you make it do multiple things at the same time and be able to accelerate the process? And that's one thing that we find. I know I've gone through this in my own life, and I've shared this in other videos, that when we had the accident several years ago and we were upside down financially and in a lot of debt, and when I found out about some of these strategies, it was like, oh my gosh, now I can see the things that I've written down on my goals list, that I've handwritten, some of these things that seemed like they were decades away. I could see how these things would happen in a few years. And then you go a little further along, and then before you know it, you've accomplished half of your goals list. And all that really changed was the financial strategies and the effect that that had on your confidence and your thinking, because now you have some momentum. Now you see things working in your favor, and voila, now you can start to think bigger, you can dream bigger, and it boosts your confidence. And as I said, raises your vibration. What, maybe you don't know quite what I'm saying there. We are an energy being, right? We're not skin, we're not cells, we're not blood, we're not bones. We're actually energy, and energy vibrates. And we know this from sound, right? Sound is a vibration. And when we raise our vibration, it's like saying raising our consciousness. We're raising our awareness of what's possible, of who we are, of how we're made, the power that we have. And so by putting in powerful financial strategies, we can then raise our vibration, as kind of directly or indirectly, however you want to look at it, to be able to get to the places that we want to get to quicker. So those are some powerful thoughts around that. Another belief around wealth is don't work for money, work so money can work for you. And this goes back to what I was speaking to early on, the very first belief about how the wealthy put money to work. The wealthy are capitalists. They grow capital primarily through businesses. And then when they have that capital, they deploy that capital, and they do that in real estate. They may do that in hedge funds. They may do that in hard money lending. They may do that in private equity. They may do that in their business. They may do that with putting money into a mentor or to a course to learn better marketing or communication or whatever it is. There's going to have a direct correlation on money coming in because of skill sets, or a direct correlation because what you're putting the money into is an asset that spins off cash flow or interest, and then that money is going to work for you. So it's a different mentality than what I ask. I mean, I think I've had 100% of the time whenever I ask, what is the definition of cash flow? Whether this is at a webinar, this is one-on-one, this is a seminar with a live audience, everybody's definition of cash flow is money comes in, consumes in our lifestyle and our living, and then it goes out, right? And there's very little left over, maybe a little bit in savings. That's what the majority of Americans live by. But when we can work for money and we have the money coming in and it's not getting consumed primarily in our living and lifestyle, and we can put that money to work, and then whatever that money working for us spins off, that's what we live on. that's a game changer, right? And you're not, obviously not everybody's gonna be able to start by buying an apartment complex. You might have to find ways to put a few hundred or a few $1,000s to work, or it may take you several months to build up to enough money to put to work in various ways that can spin you off income. But start the process. And as you go along with that, you're going to have a change in your beliefs. You're going to have a change in your energy, your consciousness, and you're going to start attracting things to you that are going to help you accelerate that process as long as your intention and beliefs are on where you want to go. And that's crystal clear for you. It will start to speed up the process. You're going to start having more and more successes. And then voila, you're going to have more and more money to play with, to be able to put to work for you and create the life that you want. So with doing that, once you've built more passive cash flow for time and choice freedom, the ability to choose what you do every day, you don't have to wait until retirement to do this. This is a big belief that is very pervasive at the middle class, that we have to go by the pre-written rules. Go to school, get good grades, go to a good college, get a good job, get good benefits, work really hard for 30 or 40 years, have a great retirement. And there's so many parts of that that just don't add up and don't make sense. I mean, let's break this down for a minute. College isn't what it used to be. Everybody's college. There's so many things I could get into. I'm not going to get into all the things about college, but it's not what it's cracked up to be in many, many cases. And then working for 30 or 40 years, primarily, if you ask most people, I think most people to some level don't like their job. They don't like what they're doing. They're only doing it for the money in a lot of cases. And I'm sure many of you that are watching this love more of what you're doing, or maybe you're in that transition. That's kind of where I've been the last several years. If you're in a transition out of what you're not really, your heart's not in it anymore, and you're working towards things that are very fulfilling for you and making it, a sustainable way to provide for your family. I get we're at all stages, right? But we got to be doing something that's connected to the heart, because if we've worked for 30 or 40 years at the assembly line, punching parts, and our body hurts and we got nothing left in the tank, and we retire at 65 and we have a heart attack at age 67, was really all that worth it? Or would we have wanted to have more time and choice freedom along the way? And that's part of what we're talking about here. And, the whole idea of retirement really is more about getting to the point of your cash flow, your financial needs are taken care of. And guess what, guys? If you had enough capital, if you were taught this way in school, and I know for me, I had enough money flow through my hands early on through high school and right out of high school with my landscaping company. If I knew how to put money to work back then, I would probably be retired right now because of what I know and the resources that I have at my disposal. So retirement is more just financially independent, to where you have enough money working for you that you can then live in however you want to. Now, does that mean you're just going to shut off your purpose and your passion? Absolutely not. But it gives you the opportunity. If I want to sleep in today, or I want to go travel Europe for a month, I can do those things. And so we don't push this off to retirement, where we have established a routine and a very ingrained pattern of scrimping and saving and putting as much money away for our future, and living that way with those habits and beliefs. And then suddenly when we get to retirement, we're supposedly going to have all these millions of dollars saved up. And then we can like shift, turn this dial in our life to where all of a sudden magically we're going to go from scrimping and saving to traveling the world and going on cruises and visiting the grandkids, right? It's going to be this illustrious life. That's not reality for most people. So let's discard that. Let's look at ways that we can create cash flow, create the freedom, and live life on your terms. Another last couple beliefs here is, I deserve to experience wealth and enjoy money along the way without sacrifice, scrimping, or shrinking. And this for some of you might be kind of hard, because maybe you don't believe you deserve it. Maybe you don't believe that wealth is something that you should be experiencing right now in your life. And that's okay. Start with where you're at. But I can assure you that if you don't develop a belief of deserving to have more money and to have more freedom, you will not experience it. It isn't going to come chase you down and tackle you and pour money all over you. It will not happen. But I believe that we are all made from God. I believe God is abundant. And I shared this in my Beliefs on Abundance video, so check that one out. A little bit different talk about things than just money related. But I believe that God created us. I believe God has infinite resources. I believe that the universal consciousness has all resources available to grow. If you plant, I'm looking outside my window right now. I see trees out here in my front yard. There's no limit. If you planted all the seeds that were available, they would all grow. There's no like limit of, well, there's only like 1 billion trees that the planet can have. No, the sunlight will hit them all and they can all grow. So there's an abundance, right, of what's available to us. And I believe that we can all experience that. And I believe that we're designed to experience all that. I believe we're designed to expand and evolve and experience more of those things. And not just about having more money, but we should be able to experience wealth to where we can live free if we, so truly choose to. And we can do the things that we want to that are impacting the world from our purpose. I believe all those things are available to us. And the thing that gets in our way of experiencing it is what's up here and not doing enough of the inner work to where we have a feeling of deserving to have that. Because if you work on that feeling of I deserve this, and you do that through hard work, you do that through education, you do that through, personal development and personal growth, or a combination of all those things, and you get to the place where I know for a fact, because of the skills that I have, I know for a fact that because of who I am as a person, I know because of my education and what I bring to the table, I know I deliver a ton of value for people. And in return for that, I know I deserve abundance. I deserve, money showing up in my life. Then it'll start showing up because it's going to follow that belief of deserving it. So work on that level of deserving and that belief. If wherever it's at, work on raising it a little bit from here and see what happens in your life, and comment in a few months from now on this video. And I want to know what's happened, because it will change things in your life. And this is my last belief. This comes from a mentor of mine years ago, Marshall Silver. He's a personal development trainer, but he's also a hypnotist. And this is a very powerful belief that hit me pretty hard when I heard it, was that if you desire money, you have a moral and ethical obligation to earn as much as possible to positively impact other people. So he took it to the point of, you have a moral and ethical obligation to, if the desire to make money is on your heart, if God placed that there, don't listen to the church and discard that and think, oh, that must be the devil talking. It's the devil on this side. You need to talk to Jesus on this shoulder talking to you about you need to be poor and all that. Get that crap out of there, because God is an abundant God. Abundance is available to you. And if that desire is on your heart to experience more of life, and to experience more of life takes more money, then that is there. If it's to serve more people, that's what's on your heart, and it takes more money to do that, then you have a moral and ethical obligation to follow that desire that God has placed on your heart, so that you can go earn as much as you need. And, assuming your heart is in the right place, then moral and ethical things will come from that. But it takes having that obligation on the front end to make an intentional effort towards increasing your income through wealth strategies, through maybe mentors, through seminars, through education. And I'm not saying education and like go to college. I'm saying educate yourself, be around people that are achieving at a high level, learn from them. There's books and courses and podcasts. There's all kinds of resources. We live in a day to where we have an abundance of education and information around us to be able to make positive changes in our life. So that's what I mean by doing those. So those are a collection of the beliefs around wealth and money that are true to my heart. I'd like to hear what those beliefs are for you. Comment below those, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. So take care and have a great day. Bye.